For everyone to know, just introduce yourself.
Stephen Urquhart, President of Omega International.
Good to meet you.
Thank you, from the booth in the Basel Fair.
I'm very
March
excited.
2011.
Very excited about the Caliber 9300.
Thank you. It's fantastic.
Every brand seems to have their own movement, own chronograph, but what I think Omega has done is create something with additional functionality. How important is it to Omega moving forward to have more and more of your own movements?
Yeah, it's not a question of only having our own, in the sense that we're not like possessive in that respect. But I think the key word, I keep saying to everybody I speak to in this fair, I've spoken to for the last 5 years, the key word is coaxial. I think we decided in the early 90s, our late chairman Nicholas Hayek decided that when George Daniels was trying to sell his coaxial technology to the Swiss, because he had obviously made a few watches over the years, and he didn't really find any takers. And Nicholas Hayek he had the vision to see the potential for Omega, and also the fact that within the group we had the technical know-how and the right people to be able to make it into a viable proposal. No point having a thing like that and just making a few thousand copies, limited editions. So we developed it with the help of Ed and all the technicians. In '99 we introduced it into our collection based on our 2500 caliber, which was the 1120 of back then, which is an Omega caliber, but more or less similar sold to other brands. It was several changes from Omega. And we felt from day one that we needed to build a new caliber around the coaxial technology. So we got to the drawing board, started by 2002, and took us 5 years to bring out the 8500, which we launched in the Our Vision watch.
And that's the automatic?
Yeah, the automatic 3-hands date. Since then we had it on the annual calendar, soon have GMT, and the date coming out in that men's size caliber movement. The year and a half later, because at the same time we said we needed a ladies' mechanical movement, which is even more difficult to make because of the size. We all know the constraints. And I must say the 8520, which is now in the Ladymatic watch, has been launched so successfully around the world now, is really a fantastic breakthrough. To have a movement of this size, of this quality for the brand. So these are both our proprietary movements with our coaxial technology, which by law anybody could do, because it's no longer protected. The trademark is expired. Well, nobody's done it, because I can assure you it's not so easy to do. And so from the beginning we said we would make a men's caliber, men's movement, a ladies movement, ladies size movement, and then a chronograph. So, and now the chronograph 9300 has come out this year.
How many of your own movements do you think you're going to be making every year from now on?
Well, I can tell you, we're still having this year, about exception of one chronograph movement, and exception of the moon watch, the 1861, which we maintain in the original moon watch. This is a different story. Every mechanical Omega watch from 2012 onwards will have a coaxial escapement.
From what year?
2012.
So from 2012 on, every Omega watch,
except for the moon watch, will have a coaxial escapement, and of those, I think we'll gradually replace the old 2500 within a year or two. So I would say probably 50% of all our production and 75% of our mechanical production will be with our proprietary coaxial movements.
I understand that you recently acquired the rights to have liquid metal completely for Omega.
Yes.
Why did you make that decision?
No, because our people, our technicians came to us with this fantastic new material. They had contact with the company in the States, and we negotiated with them to have exclusivity for the watchmaking industry. We launched it in a Planet Ocean last year, and now in the new one I'm wearing here, titanium, we have it also, the figures. I think it's a fantastic material, and we're right at the beginning of the possibilities. This is not purely, but it's mainly aesthetic, but there are also incredible possibilities to use it as other functions within the movement. So the elasticity of the metal
it's also very durable compared to the aluminum insert.
Very durable, very durable.
China is a really big market for Omega right now.
Yes.
It's for many brands, but especially for Omega.
And I would take away the word right now. It's been that case for a few years. Honestly, I'm saying it because, everybody who comes here says to me, China. I said, listen, it's like, saying to a guy who's going to, go to the seaside, his son, China, we've been there for 20 years, very involved in China, making inroads with our partners and opening stores and having the right distribution there. So, we're very happy that, we're fantastically happy, but it's not just this year. We've been there it's been a really major market for many years. And it's true now, everybody's, not in just watch brands, but everybody's.
What do you attribute to your strength there? You have a very high amount of market dominance in China. What do you attribute to that fact?
Well, a combination of many things. I think I started off with distribution. I think we started off from the beginning. There was one watch shop in Shanghai Watch and Clocks. That had those stock of watches, and especially the customer care, servicing watches. So we started off by finding the right partners. It's funny, everybody thinks it's Shanghai and Beijing, but actually the real breakthrough initially started in the Northeast. In Dalian and Shenyang, even up to Harbin, which was the industrial heart of China back then, as opposed to the southern part, which is more the products that we know of Chinese. If you buy a table mat somewhere, it's made in China, it's probably from Guangzhou. But if the industrial products from China from the old days was up northeast. Also, obviously, Shanghai and Beijing, but it was there. I remember my first trip to China in '97. I was amazed to see already the shops that we had in those cities in Omega, with Rado, which was together in the same group together. We were the two pioneer brands there, and the group is obviously the first group to ready to install its own offices properly, and ready to do it.
So you're saying that.
So I think that the first key was distribution. We found the partners. We made stores initially. There were shopping shops, there were small stores. I remember going to one of those cities, I can't remember which one it was. It was November '98, I think. Walking, it was like a department store with the watch side part of it. The salespeople were wearing a mink coat because there was no air conditioning, there was no heating in there. I swear, I promise you. And there was this place there were shrimps just nearby. You have to see how it's evolved the last just since 10 years, 12 years. It's incredible.
Wow.
So that, but we were there, and we found the right locations. We had shopping shops, and then we slowly progressed into monobrand, standalone boutiques, and So that's really, I think that's key. Number one. Number two, we were fortunate, is maybe not the word, but we had maybe the foresight to really introduce the Constellation as being a watch for the Chinese that they really like. It's a mixture of elegance and classicism.
So the Constellation was originally designed for the Chinese market?
No, that was designed for Chinese market.
But they liked it?
It was designed actually I would even say for the US market. The original name was Manhattan, by the way.
Really?
1982. And the original idea was to make a watch with waterproof that had the two claws on it to keep the bezel. It was never intended to be a ladies' watch, never.
Really?
It developed into that, and in fact, redesigned in 1995, and really, I would say, launched in a big way in China with Cindy Crawford back in '95 in Beijing and Shanghai. She went there twice, by the way, where nobody was doing any events in China at all.
In '95?
Yeah, how to get a visa to go there back then,
Wow.
And Omega did that, we launched that, and so that was, so together with the right distribution, the right partners, with the right product, and backed up with the right marketing, I think that's good. It's scoop of theory, but it's a little bit what we did there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I found that compared to a lot of other brands, Omega watches have a really good level of fit and finish and refinement in terms of comfort. What are you doing right that other brands are not doing?
Fit and finish, I would say we are very stringent on on quality control. Our QC is something that drives me mad because it means I can't get a watch quickly enough. But we are very, if I take the case of ceramics, I now have a watch on my right wrist here that has liquid metal but with a ceramic bezel. Everybody says we're behind everybody else in the industry. We have been late, but it's because we wanted to make sure, to get the right. We cannot make a watch for and hoping in 10 years' time will still be okay, or 20 years' time. And that's been Omega's philosophy from day one, forever. So that's been the driving force behind the quest for quality, without trying to become a luxury niche brand. I'm not saying that, but everything we do, we try to do it, for lasting value. Now the finish, I agree. I think we attach a lot of importance to that, to make our watches user-friendly, to make them attractive to wear, and not too much like wearing a big instrument in a wrist or something like that. So it's, try to find, obviously sometimes it compromises, but...
Do you think that sort of dedication to refinement and being a good, easy-to-wear watch that is comfortable has attributed to your strength also in the Western markets?
Well, I think it has, yes. I mean, I think Omega does a lot of things have contributed to the success. That is one, the product. I think it's an aesthetically pleasing product, general Omega. I think we have some fantastic iconic designs, like obviously Speedmaster, everybody knows. But I would say also, I think people buy Omega, they realize it's an affordable product in many cases. It has incredible intrinsic value in it. I think this is maybe also it may sound a bit, it's like a rational thing to say for a very irrational purchase, because most people who buy watches, let's say it's quite an irrational, emotional purchase very often. But I think that rational feeling is there somehow, it's maybe subconscious there, so.
I like that, a rational decision for an irrational purpose.
A little bit.
That's good.
I think so, yeah.
I think that, the U.S. really likes high-performance watches and what I call tool watches that are designed to do something extreme that maybe the wearer isn't going to do. But if they had to do it, they know their watch would survive.
I mean, who needs a diving watch anyway, to go? The Pro Prof that we introduced years ago.
Yeah.
1,200 feet,
And it did really well, right?
It did well, yeah. I mean, it's a niche. That's a niche product because of the design, anybody is going to wear that. But,
right.
We did very well. We have, we've seen that sales went up and it sort of stayed steady. It's good.
Which models do you find yourself wearing usually?
Yeah, it changes. I always have a penchant for that original Speedmaster Seamaster case of 1957, which I still have on both wrists, by the way. Which for me is a beautiful watch. I mean, the whole way those lugs. I mean, the lugs are really something incredible because lugs can really make a watch or kill it.
Yeah.
And I think these lugs here, either expressed in a watch like a diver's watch or the Speedmaster, or even the Aquaterra, which I think is a beautifully like dress watch style, very sedate and very low key, but a beautiful watch to wear. Which I prefer that. I also, wear sometimes because it's for nostalgic reasons the Vision. I still think it's a great statement for the brand.
It's an interesting one. Very Art Deco.
Yeah, Art Deco. It's got that sapphire side to it that we felt was, we didn't want to make it gimmicky, but we felt, come on, we have a fabulous new movement there. We're proud of it. We want people to see it as much as possible. Skeleton movements, if you open the face, okay, you can do it, but it's not really our style, Omega. Omega should be a watch that has a function, as you said, so see the time properly, So we said, let's open the side, and it was not easy to do, I can show you.
What's it like working with the Olympics?
Listen, it's a unique partnership to have, especially for Omega, because it's not like, everybody says you sponsor Olympics. In fact, we're not sponsoring anything. We have a contract with the IOC now. It's signed till 2020 for the next 4 games, 12, 14, 16, 5 games. And basically, it's an incredible challenge because we have to, on the one hand, obviously the branding is important and the exposure you get is fantastic. At the same time, we have to have an incredible response. It's very responsible. It's not like putting your name on a football jersey.
Right.
We're putting our name out there to time the most challenging sporting events out there. Either winter or summer. So it's a big challenge. We have an incredible team up there within the group to back us on this. So I think it's a very satisfying. We came back. Omega's long history of Olympics. I don't want to repeat all that, but we went away for a little while. The group used on the brand for it. We came back into 2006. Obviously, Beijing was the real breakthrough. The Olympic Games in Beijing, Omega had to be in the Olympic Games.
Yeah, it was huge.
And that was incredible. And we had Vancouver, which I must say was I really enjoyed it, and I found the interest of the press, especially on the timing side of it, was very refreshing to see this. Because people tend to take this for granted. You know, you watch a race on television, you see a little time ticking by, you say, okay, you know, nobody really knows what's behind it. You see it. If you imagine, I visited the whole bobsleigh timing setup. I mean, it's unbelievable what goes into it.
And Omega does all that in-house.
We do all that in-house, yeah.
I think there's a misperception sometimes because people do believe it's just a sponsorship and it's some other
I
company.
agree with you. People tell me all the time, you sponsor. We don't sponsor the games. Sure, we sell our services to the IOC, and then we buy back marketing rights to use the rings and everything. But it's a very different set of just letting a name to the games.
I know it's a cliche question, but tell us some of the things we might expect in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid trying to make predictions because you
You must have plans, and maybe you won't execute them all.
Plans is one thing. I think we have to continue definitely on the two keywords I said in this short discussion we've had. The coaxial experience or legacy that we're building up now for the brand. I think we have to continue and accentuate. And and I want the day to come, and I'm presumptuous now, but people walk in the shop and say, before they buy any watch, is it a coaxial? No, I mean, this is what we have it today. People are buying Omegas or even other brands and asking, is it a coaxial? So we have to continue because it gives Omega, although it's not something that's visible or tangible, but it's there. And it gives Omega a fantastic platform which to build its mechanical watchmaking ability, that's for sure. Second thing, I think we'll continue on our retail development, our corporate stores worldwide in the States. We're opening again this year, and after the 10 we opened in December, another 15, 20 stores in the US.
In the US, so 15
standalone corporate retail stores for which we believe we're not trying to duplicate our retailers, we're keeping the regular retailers, but it's a whole different ballgame out there. I think the consumer there, he wants to come to the world of Omega, to smell, to touch, to taste the brand, and talk to people who he can relate to. He knows the brand, he's been on our website, you know what I mean? He's not coming in and saying, I want to buy a watch. We'll have this, but for me, it's exceptional. People know what they want to buy. Maybe they're hesitating between different brands, but they want to come in. And we in our own stores can portray the collection and have the trained staff necessarily for us. And I think the third thing is to continue, the keyword in other words is to be consistent and to stay. We're not going to try to break out and become that. People ask all the time, why don't we go and make tourbillons? We have a tourbillon, but why don't we go into complicated watches? This is not our mission. We made them. You come to a museum, I'll show the first ever mini repeater we made. It's there, but it's not our vocation. In the group, we have fantastic brands for that. A, and B, we cannot be everything to everybody. So, I think we're really consistent with our image. It doesn't mean we cannot bring out a very daring watch like Lady Matic that is reaching out to a new consumer who maybe wouldn't have been sensitive to Omega before. And we really see that's so that's, I think, what we're going to do the next 5 years.
Are there any crazy watch ideas that you wanted to do that just didn't work?
Yeah, we've had a few. We've been toying for years how to make a chronograph without these push buttons.
So
there are other ways to activate a chronograph.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're doing things like that. I think new materials has great possibilities in the future. I don't only mean ceramics and things we know, but maybe other ones for the future could be used either technically or aesthetically or both. A lot of ideas, Also, we're involved in many projects, so obviously we're very tempted to do things like the solar impulse plane that we're sponsoring. That is a sponsorship that we put our money, and we did the landing lights. We're helping them with it, because we believe that, we went to the moon in '69, okay, and now I think we live in a different world now. That's not our priority. Our priority is to do something for the earth on which we're living. In our small, minute little way, I think the solar impulse project can do something. Maybe in 20 years' time, people will say it was a joke, or it was the beginning of a new era for transport.
So for people that don't understand, this is a plane which runs on solar power and theoretically never has to land.
Yeah, well, not that. Theoretically, yes. No, theoretically, it's a plane that was built, of course, with incredible light materials. We helped a little bit in certain, like landing lights, very, very light. That is destined to travel day and night with only on solar power. That means it has to charge the batteries in the day. And in fact, I'll tell you something incredible about this plane. I went to visit it. I went to see it being built about 9 months ago. No, more than that. A year and a half ago, it flew 9 months ago. And I looked at this plane, incredible, and said, the whole plane is made of petroleum. And that's what's incredible. Here is a plane that is being made to travel around the world without using 1 gallon of petrol, but it's made of petroleum. And I think it's a message to see that, we have a fabulous material there, or mineral, to use a proper word, in the ground. And instead of burning it, we should use it. I mean, imagine everything we touch and see in this world has got something of petroleum in it. Be it in medicine, be it in pills, be it in... And there's this plane, I found that really ironic, that is going to go around the world and make a statement that is not using any petroleum. And it's made of petroleum, because you couldn't make it with anything else. You couldn't make it with wood because it would break.
Right.
And the alloys that they use there, the composite alloys, are all petroleum based. So I think that's a message also that I think we have to look at and see. We should use this material, this petroleum, for incredible attributes that it has.
That's very specific.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure. I look forward to seeing you again.
Okay.